three sizer brushes. This is a 0.2, this is a 0.4, this is a 0.6. And the reason why I know they're different sizes is pretty simple. Well, it's difficult to see at the moment. I'm going to take off the very first part of this airbrush, which is the needle cap, and it's there to protect the needle. And you'll see that it has a nozzle cap, and the nozzle cap there is designed to house this nozzle, as you can see. Now if I do the same with the next brush, which is a 0.4, they look identical. However, if I do the same exercise again and take off the needle cap and expose the nozzle cap, you'll see, if you look carefully, put these two together, there's a very, very thin line running around this 0.4, one single line. There isn't one here. Okay, so I'm now going to take this off, and I'm now going to expose the nozzle, and this is the nozzle. And if you look at this nozzle and this nozzle, there's a difference. This has got a line, a single line, which matches the single line that we found on the nozzle cap. And this one has no line, and this one doesn't have a line here. Okay. I've actually just mixed those up, if you see. So we'll put that to there. So we now know that that's in sequence. And there's one other thing that differentiates the brush, and that's if I do this here and take the back off, you'll see that there's a difference in the needle sizes. There's a little notch here, so that's one notch, one ring, they all match. This one doesn't have a notch at all. It also has no ring on the nozzle and no ring on the nozzle cap. This one is a 0.6, and the reason why I know it's a 0.6 is the same principle. I take this off here and I can see that there's two lines running right the way around the nozzle cap. If I take the nozzle cap off and release the nozzle, it also has two lines going around the nozzle. If I then turn the airbrusher over, take the back off, you'll also see that also corresponds to two notches on here. I don't know if the camera's picking up, but it should be able to do. Okay, so that in essence is the difference between the brushes. 0.2 is for detailed work. Think of it as an eyeliner brush. 0.4 is a foundation brush for general purpose. 0.6 is for larger areas, for body painting. If you wanted to do body painting, hair art, things like that, that will be fine. This ideally is for foundation work or for body art. There's a difference between body painting and body art. Body art is used with isopropyl alcohol. Body painting is water-based. We're not going to be dealing with that today, by the way. This is for detailed work, such as you can do foundation work with it at a distance, but it will create overspray. But it's also ideal for contouring, it's all great for lip lining, it's great for anything that's detailed work, including eyeshadow work. Now the ideal thing is to have a collection of brushes that you'll pick up over time. Right, just one more thing that I want to do, and that's to take a brush down, split it down, and show you how to rebuild it. So let's just build this one back together. I've just put the nozzle inside the nozzle cap. The needle cap is now going back on. I'm going to now pop that back onto here. And then what we're going to do is strip the brush down completely and then rebuild it. Right, the first thing that we're going to do is always start from the back and work your way forward. This is called a restrictor. It's like an air brake, a handbrake if you like. It restricts the movement of the needle when you pull back on the trigger. The next thing I'm going to do is remove the back of the brush. That exposes the needle. To release the needle, it's held in place by a locking nut, so all you're going to do is undo the locking nut and release the needle. The next thing I'm going to do is take out the trigger mechanism, and we do that by pulling back, holding and releasing the trigger mechanism. Then this allows us then to get access to the chuck. Now that's the body of the brush, and I'm going to look at in the detail at this. This has a locking nut attached to it. We're going to take that off and then carefully pull back, and you'll see there's a spring. This is the needle housing. The needle runs right the way through it. The next thing we're going to do is look at the interchangeable colour cup, which is on quite tight. I'll come back to that in a minute, I think. Well, we'll come back to that in a minute. The next thing we'll do then is remove, which we've already done before. We're going to remove the nozzle, which is a 0.6, and split it down further into the two components, which is the nozzle cap and needle cap. Just to give you an indication, this is a removable colour cup, and it comes in various sizes. At the moment that's a little bit tight and my hands are greasy, so I'll just skip that for the time being. Now to rebuild it, it's a pretty straightforward exercise. We started at the back. Now what we're going to do is reverse the whole process and start from the front. So you pick up the nozzle cap, the needle cap, that's there to protect the needle. It attaches to the nozzle cap. Everything is finger tight, don't over tighten things. Then we put the nozzle in, the correct nozzle corresponding to the size of the brush that you want to use, and we screw that to the front of the brush. Normally I would then put the colour cup on, but it's already on quite securely. We're then going to build the housing mechanism for the needle. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the needle guide, put the spring on. It will only go on one way. There's a hexagon fitting. Now to keep that into place,